Today I want to share a bit more about my background as a kid, how I got into training, more social aspects to it as well, like how I was as a person back in the days before I had anything with training related, how my life was as a kid, or which position I had in school, and then just wrap it all together and just see if we can connect the dots backwards, because I think this can really help a lot of people to then see a more clear path. Because when you're young especially, it's so hard to know where you're gonna end up and what decisions and maybe some emotions you're feeling right now, how they're gonna affect, like how is everything just gonna go together and make sense. So that's where I want to get to. So first off, as throughout my whole entire school years up until 9th grade, I was literally just a mediocre one. I wasn't at all the famous person in the class. I wasn't the nerd either. I just literally was pretty much no one. I was a little bit known for my swimming or having some slight muscles because I did swim back in the days, but I was nobody. I wasn't invited to parties, and when I got invited to parties, I usually came up with some bullshit ass excuse why I couldn't go, because I was so scared of showing up and embarrassing myself at the parties. I was so scared for it, and therefore I just denied it. And then that also stuck with me for a really long time, even in the higher age as well. I just was so uncomfortable in those social scenarios that I was scared of attending, because it wasn't in a place that I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to act, and therefore I just avoided it. So that's why I just never went to parties. And then eventually when I got into training, I used training as an excuse, even though at some degree I felt like I was missing out on some parts. That is true. But I stuck to my plan. I used that training as an excuse until eventually the dots connected and I understood that this was my path the whole time. Because now, but also a few years ago, I am so grateful for the friends that I got associated with. Since I didn't go to the parties, I started linking up with people that found joy in the gym, that found joy in other things. So I was with them all the times when there were other parties or whatever it was going on, and doing things that contributed to things that today I'm extremely grateful for. And number one is having this close group of friends. I used to listen to tons of motivational speakers. Like 7 years ago, probably I started. I just literally walk, whenever I take a walk or something, I will have a motivational speaker in my ear. And they would always say that you want to find some close ones. You don't want to have just a lot of, I don't know how you say it in English, but friends that aren't close. That's a really bad explanation for it, but you get the point. And everything just added up. At the point I was like, but how the fuck do I find these people? And now I just see that, alright, it was the case all the time, because at the moment I just spend time with less than 10 people, but I am so damn close with them and super grateful for having them in my life. And then the other thing was, how the fuck did I end up doing social media, which is basically the number one thing where you can do so many mistakes and so many people can see you fuck up. From being the dude that didn't even want to show up at a party or whatever it was because I was so scared of making a mistake. And I want to tell you guys this because you can change so much in your actions. First vlog I ever did, I was so afraid of not saying it in a good way. I was afraid of saying something that probably would offend people, or not even offend, just that other people would have an other opinion about it. So I didn't always say exactly what I wanted to tell. I just told them a bit more general story, because that was like, okay, no one is really gonna sort of relate to it, but no one is really gonna disagree either. And I had a short ride to the gym, and sometimes I would take an extra lap to the gym because I thought my first take on the vlog was bad, that I had to do too many mistakes in it, or I didn't really get the point, or I said something a bit wrong and it would be weird if I would edit it out. So I would take an extra lap, spend like 20 extra minutes just to get a better take. And most of the time it didn't even get better, and I was like, fuck it. And that at the end of the day just ended up making my brain understand that it doesn't matter. Like, yes, you can always make it more perfect, but who cares? If you say something, and the more used you get to just saying it straight from your mind, the more pure it's gonna be. And if you can get really comfortable with that, you're gonna have no problems. Like, literally everything you say is gonna be yours, and you don't need to think about, is this what I would wanna say? No, because it is what you're saying. It's of course really hard to get to that stage, but YouTube helped me so much with just being consistent with speaking. Still, I make a lot of mistakes grammarly. I sometimes get off my path when I talk, but each month I just look back and it's improving every single time. And it's those small steps. So it's just a drastic contrast between where I used to be as a kid, super scared, to where I am now. And one thing that really changed there as well was understanding that other people's opinion doesn't matter. That's something you hear literally everyone say, but when you're young and you hear it for the first time, you're like, yeah, everyone says it, but how the fuck should I not care about what people say? If I'm in a class and my classmates have an opinion about me that I don't really like, it's to some degree gonna affect me. And that is really true. At the moment, it is gonna affect you. But trust me, the people you are surrounded with so many more years later, which is really where your life is starting. Everyone just goes through school. It's sort of this funnel phase to understanding what you actually want to do in your life. But why would those people's opinion, why would you care? And I cared. But now looking back, it just didn't matter, because there is so few people from that time that I have contact with. And when I understood that, it's like, okay, that is gonna be the same concept today as it's gonna be in 10 years. So why would I care if there is someone's opinion today that I most likely won't have a relationship with or know even in a few years ahead? It just doesn't make sense. And that when that changed as well, I just became like, fuck it, why not just do everything? If you fuck up something or if someone has an opinion, most likely you're gonna forget it the next day. With social media as well, if I post something and something is just completely messed up with what I do, it's either way, I'm gonna post another video in a few days, and then that's gonna be the new thing, and someone is gonna forget it. And if someone cares, it's most likely not someone I care about their opinion. Maybe if my mother comes to me and tells me like, why the fuck did you do this? It might hurt me. Or if I have my closest friend or someone that I really look up to tell me that, I'm gonna have a thought about it. But otherwise, I just don't care. And that's what I wanted to tell you. Even though everyone says it, I just want to give a broader contrast of how my life actually looked so different back in the days compared to now. And personality wise, also I'm just way more comfortable with who I am and how I speak and what I say, because at the end of the day, the people that do want to listen to what I say, they are gonna be here. And the people that don't want to listen, and the ones that probably would just be like, let's find something that he says wrong so I can, you know, nag him for it, or those things, they are not gonna be here. And at the end of the day, they're also not the people I want to target. And that's how I want to wrap it all together. Just focus on the people you care about, find those ones, and don't care too much about people that you either way not gonna spend too much time on with. And I will tell you this, if you are happy with the position you are in right now, there is nothing you would want to change. Maybe, yes, there are gonna be some things you probably would want to change, but if you're happy right now, it's because everything you've done in your life has added up to this. So have that in mind. And have this thought on a good day, not on a bad day where you're super stressed or training is going shit. Have this thought on a good day where you feel like, I am actually really happy with how everything has turned out. And if you're not, see, are there any areas where I just need to go out of my comfort zone, because this is just, I'm putting too much effort when it comes to focusing on these areas. I am not doing this because I'm scared of what other people say. That's one thing when it comes to training as well. There are some exercises like with the banded stuff, that is like, it's super weird to do it in the middle of the gym with a lot of people. And if that is the case, then find ways around that. Like train maybe in a corner, or you find somewhere else to train, but find solutions to things that you think is uncomfortable, or you just like, I don't give a shit, and you do it either way. I don't know. Now I was trying to think of another example. I'm most likely gonna come up with one, but I don't want to drag this out too much either. The plan for today is also to do a front lever session, and I'm gonna see if I can go back to my normal routines. Maybe a little bit more help than usual, but I'm gonna start with top front lever hold, some front lever pull-ups to hold, and we're gonna do weighted pull-ups as well. And then the Romanian deadlift, and I think those are gonna be it. I might add the retraction as well, the straight arm for the Victorian. And then next week, hopefully add the Victorian as a full training part, or as a part of the routine as well. But that is the plan, so let's get it. First up, it's gonna be front lever touch. And to be honest, I'm a bit nervous, not in the sense that I think I'm gonna have some pain. It's more like, have I lost some progress? Is it maintained, or have I even improved? Most likely not, but if I have just at least maintained the level I was at before the injury, that would be really good. So let's do a first hold. That one is usually not the best one, but the second one I can probably do a judgment on if I have lost something, or if we're pretty much where we left off the last time. Not too bad. Actually surprised me. It felt way better than I expected to do. Now I don't know how the form was, but it should be alright. Maybe just a slight bend in the knees, but the touch for at least a few seconds, and then the top point pretty right. So let's have a check and then do the second one, which I do think is actually gonna be even better. Not bad at all. I had a look. Maybe that my body was a bit tilted downwards, so I would like to get my legs just slightly higher up when it comes to the angle. But besides of that, I'm actually a bit surprised with how well I performed it. It's not that much worse than where I left off. Then again, now also I just haven't done it in a while, so most likely it's not strength that I've lost, it's just some connection. So if I give it just a few more sessions, I think we're actually just going to be pretty much back, which is really nice to see. Then I'm not going to push it like insanely hard. This one doesn't target the lower back that much, but in general, even though I feel really good now, no pain at all, I know that it's still there, so give it a bit more time before I start to really go crazy again. Let's do 2 more sets. And this one we have the anime drop, and you always have the Spotify playlist in the description. I think the angle was better, maybe just slightly shorter hold though when it comes to touch, but overall I'm still satisfied. Just being able to hold it and not losing that much is a win. I am really happy with that. Pretty consistent all the 3 sets as well. Maybe a few seconds in between, but nothing too major. It felt really good, connection, no pain. I looked at it as well, and the form is clean. Maybe not the longest of holds, and not all the seconds are touch, but I'm extremely happy. So let's move on to front lever pull-ups. Back 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks, when I did last time, I did 3 in a row and then a hold. I'm gonna still go for that as well today. I think my pulling strength should be the same. I did train the tuck front lever pull-ups before during the injury as well, and I think that just maintained it at least, maybe even getting stronger, because I did go pretty close to failure, a few reps in reserve, but it felt good. So let's see if I can maintain 3 of them, and then the hold afterwards should be also fine. All right, before I go, do a wild guess of how many you think I will be able to perform. I'm aiming for 3. Hopefully that is going to be the case. So let's get the drop and it's showtime. not as good as before, but still, 2 I would probably count. Last one, 70% fulfillment, and the hold, not either super crazy, but something. Let's do 2 more sets. Maybe the second one actually is slightly better. Who knows? I feel like I'm lacking just slight explosiveness and then a little bit sore in the back, in the hold. I dropped the retraction. I just get my shoulders a bit too high up, and then it's hard to get the hips as well. But still, just really happy overall with the performance, and it literally doesn't really feel like I had the injury, because now it just feels like I'm pretty much where I left off. And that is such a good feeling. I know, a little bit too much momentum on the first rep, but the other ones were decent. And nothing can destroy my mood right now, because I'm just happy to actually be in the movements again, because this is what I really enjoy, just training. And when I found that passion, it's like results, they are important for the sort of instant gratification and motivation, especially on pretty sore and tough days. But if you just enjoy the training, which I really do, then I don't really care too much about each session up and down. It's just I love being back. And this injury, not only did it teach me a lot, but also just gave me more like understanding of how much I really enjoy just being here and training what I do. So every bad thing has some bright sides as well. Let's move on. Weighted pull-ups, and then after that one I might do the retraction as well. Gonna see how the body feels, but let's jump to it. So before the injury I left off at 50 kilograms, but today I'm gonna bump it up to 40. And the thing is that even if it's pretty close to what I usually train in, pretty high intensity, just 40 kg on my hips isn't that much. The main concern with the dip belt is for the pull-ups is fine, but for the dips, if I do dips with 90, 100 kg, that's when you have a lot of strain. But for me to do pretty close to what I did before in pull-ups, it's not that much, because the weight isn't as much, or not even close to how much it is for the dips. So therefore I can still push that one. So let's do 40 kg, see if we can get at least 8 repetitions. Should definitely be doable, otherwise I am a bit weak, and the lower back has nothing to do with that part. Not too bad. Let's do 2 more sets. I also want to let you guys know about something I haven't told a lot of people about, and that's the fact that I do online coaching. And it is really specific with not a lot of individuals, but my main goal is to just help you reach whichever level you want to accomplish. So I have done a form where you can fill in, and it doesn't really matter what you fill in, but you will be able to book a 15-minute call. We will just sit and discuss how I think I can help you reach your maximum level, whether that's from my coaching, maybe it's I have some programs, or in just a video, or I can just give you a quick tip. But either way, I have that for you to fill out and book a 15-minute call with me. And I'm just really looking forward to get to know you guys and help you in the best possible way. So check that one out, and we will continue with the session. It's also a fine margin in weighted pull-ups where you can do pretty fast repetitions. You need slightly wider grip for it, or if you have a bit closer, you need to get a chin slightly inwards, activates more retraction. A bit harder to get the high speed and a lot of reps in, but at the same time, it depends on what your purpose is. If it's just for pure training, time and tension, the connection in these ones are really nice. But if it's just about getting many reps, I prefer getting the technique where my body just goes up and down and less of a sort of muscle up movement. Last one, and just for scientific reasons, I'm gonna take it slightly wider and see if I can increase the pace. Also need a bit more false grip for this one. Harsh though on the hands. We're sticking to normal ones. Last week I did rip my hand during the EMOM for the pull-ups, and now with the false grip it wasn't the best thing, so I let it go. But otherwise, during EMOMs especially, you really feel it for the wider grip and just repping with a straight body. For this one, it took way more on the grip, so on fresh day I can probably hold it, but now it just feels like I'm gonna re-rip, which is definitely not worth it. Otherwise, felt good. 40 kg, probably gonna be back with 50 kg pretty soon, especially for this chin up. I think that one has maintained better and also was slightly stronger before. But for pull-ups, definitely pretty soon as well. Most likely next week at some point. Let's move on. I am gonna skip the retraction, move straight to the Romanian deadlift, just for lower back, and that's gonna be the last thing for today. And just like last session, I only wanna go to the degree where my lower back allows me, so I don't wanna start pronate. I'm gonna keep the arch connection with lower back, and it's not gonna be that far of a range of motion, but the whole purpose now is just to get the lower back connection, get that one strengthened. So let's do 3 sets. That is exhausting. One of those few exercises I really feel the fatigueness in the back. In a good way, just getting tired. But let's have a look at the form as well, see if I can improve something for the next set. Otherwise, there's 2 more. Looked pretty solid. I think the range was alright. Sometimes I tend to just bend my back slightly. That is fine. The main thing is that I just don't create a super hollow body, and that sort of takes away the purpose of the training. I only want to target the lower back, so that's the thing I want to do. Let's do another set, pretty much the same. Now I'm up at 14 reps, still have a few ones in reserve, but I think it's better for me just to get a hang of the exercise before I start loading too much weight, because not necessarily something I've been doing for a long time, so just want to get a better feeling for it. And now it feels like the workouts are getting more consistent, the form isn't crazy off, which it might be in the first time doing something. So next session I am gonna add some more weight and just see if we can lower the reps a bit, go more towards the strengthening part, because now we're a bit more volume since we're above the 10 rep mark. Just gonna see if I can go slightly deeper on the reps, and maybe even a bit slower as well, so I really can feel it a bit more. If I have momentum, I might stop too early. I didn't say it before, but it also feels the hamstrings. And first time I did it, I did feel it for like 3 or 4 days just by walking. It's crazy. Since I don't really train legs at all, I guess now I can tell people I have some light activation at least. But the lower back just feels really good from this. And hope we'll see some results in the future as well when it comes to lower back connection, but also not getting injuries in that section. Something I've been structuring this whole week, and I'm gonna film in the end of this week as well, is the front lever introduction. So it's gonna be a free introduction to front lever, literally including everything about the front lever. How you train it, common discomforts, things, how you should structure it, things that are usually wrong with it, or things to really focus on with the front lever. We have the grips, we have what to eat, if you should be shredded or if you should bulk up. Literally everything. There's so many slides, and I'm gonna record it, put everything into program. It is fully free for anyone to access, and it's gonna be available inside the calisthenics masterclass. So click the link either up here or here to join. It's, as I said, completely free, and you will also get access to an amazing community. So check that one out. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss future content, and I will see you guys for a planche session. Have a good one. Choo-choo.